Everybody, it's Bill Colarulo from Unfiltered. You can check it out every day from 2 to 6 with my man Ricky Bowe and Silvana Kelleher. But this is my closing argument. I bring this every Friday. We look back on all the topics from the week, and I give you my final opinions on them. We're going to start with the Eagles preseason game number 1 from Thursday night. There was a lot to like on the offensive side of the football. Now, it should not come as a shock to a lot of people that Tanner McKee performed as well as he did. You saw him come in last season in the middle of a game and really light it up. And if you've been hearing what's going on in training camp, I've been lucky enough to be down there. Tanner McKee is good. He throws a really good football. He has an understanding of this offense. He could probably start for at least 10 teams in the NFL right now, or at least compete for a starting quarterback job. I know there's people already out there saying, try to trade him for a draft pick. I wouldn't do it. I would keep Tanner McKee right where he is as the backup quarterback to Jalen Hurts, because you never know. We've seen it before. You don't have to go back too long ago, 2017. If your starting quarterback goes down, you better have a serviceable backup, and Tanner McKee would certainly be that. So I'm not trading Tanner McKee for anything right now. I'm keeping him where he is. But some other good things on the offense that should not have been a surprise to a lot of people if you were listening to our show where my man Andrew DeCecco gives us all the inside information on what's going on at training camp, were the performances of Johnny Wilson, Ainias Smith, Darius Cooper. These were 3 wide receivers that Andrew DeCecco had been talking about. Now, you saw Johnny Wilson a little bit last year. We didn't see much of Ainias Smith last year, but that kid was an absolute stud at Texas A&M, and they drafted him last season. He was called Mr. All-Purpose for a reason. You saw it on firsthand in this game. He can not only play receiver, he's a great punt returner as well. I expect Ainias Smith to make this team at the very least to be the punt returner. But now what does that mean for Darius Cooper, number 41? Last season, the Eagles kept 5 wide receivers. All right, so you already have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson. Who are the other 2 receivers that are going to make the team? If you make Ainias Smith your punt returner, that leaves 1 spot. Is it Johnny Wilson? Is it Darius Cooper? It's going to be an interesting battle to keep watching, but the Eagles wide receiver room is a lot deeper than it's been in previous years. It was unfortunate to see Elijah Cooks go down with an injury, but that's the good. Let's get the good out of the way. Tyler Steen also looked good in the 1 series he had. A.J. Dillon, Will Shipley, they look like they're going to be good backups to Saquon Barkley and hopefully can carry the load a little bit so that Saquon doesn't put a lot of wear and tear on him. But let's go to the bad, the defense. The big question marks coming into this season were who's going to be the outside cornerback opposite Quinyon Mitchell and who's going to be the safety next to Reed Blankenship when they're not in a base package, because Cooper DeJean right now is your starting safety in base. But when they go to nickel or dime, who's the safety going to be? Well, let's start with the corners. Not a great performance by Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson. Now, I've been very high on Keely Ringo since they drafted him out of Georgia. The guy has all of the attributes you want in a corner. He's got size. He's got speed. He's athletic. But for whatever reason, he really hasn't been able to put it together, and that was on full display last night. Jamar Chase made him look silly. And I don't want to hear the arguments that, oh, well, he's going up against Jamar Chase, because guess what? If he's the starting corner on the 2025 Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to go up against wide receivers like Jamar Chase. And when you know you have Quinyon Mitchell on the one side, if you're the opposing offense, who do you think you're going to be attacking? You're going to be going after Keely. You're going to be going after Adoree Jackson. Now, Adoree Jackson didn't play as badly as Keely Ringo did, but it certainly wasn't great either. So we'll have to see. Does this mean Jacorian Bennett is going to win that starting job? And we haven't even seen him play yet in an Eagles uniform. It just makes me question, and I know in Howie we trust, but why didn't you just bring back Isaiah Rodgers? Isaiah Rodgers didn't make that much money with the Minnesota Vikings. He's getting 2 years, $11 million. You could have just signed him. It wouldn't have broken the bank, and you knew you could at least trust him. But it's early. We'll see how it all plays out. Safety's the other position next to Reed Blankenship. Sidney Brown, I love how aggressive he is on special teams, but when you're a starting safety in this league, you got to dial it down sometimes. And you see he plays with such reckless abandon. He had terrible form on that tackle where he drops his head and he hurt his shoulder. We'll see what happens there. Andrew Makuba, the rookie that they took in the second round, didn't play. So we have to hope that he's the answer. But those are the big question marks on the defense. The other one is the edge rushers behind Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith. Didn't see a ton from Josh Uche or Azeez Ojulari, but it wasn't all bad. The linebackers looked good outside of Smile Mondin Jr. Smile's been having a great camp. Didn't really translate to the game last night on Thursday. And Jeremiah Trotter looked good. Jahad Campbell, as a rookie in his first game, I thought he did a lot of good things. He's certainly an athlete. You saw Gabe Hall. People are excited about him at D-tackle. Ty Robinson had a sack. So not all bad on defense, but certainly some question marks in the secondary. So we'll see. We'll keep monitoring the Eagles. You get the best Eagles coverage on our show. I guarantee it. We get Andrew DeCecco in studio every Tuesday and Friday. The guy's the best Eagles reporter, hands down, in the city of Philadelphia. But let's switch over to the Phillies, because there was a lot of Phillies news this week as well. When they made the trade for Harrison Bader, Rob Thompson said that they were going to platoon for 6 games. Well, those 6 games are over. And you saw it, I guess, work, because Harrison Bader hits a home run, and then the next day he sits, and Max Kepler's in, and Brandon Marsh, and both of them hit home runs, and then the next day they sit. But what's the plan now? The 6 games is over. What is the plan going forward in that outfield? Doesn't look like Justin Crawford's getting called up anytime soon. Are they going to continue to platoon these guys out there? Now, I made the case earlier this week. Is it time for Brandon Marsh to be given a shot as an everyday guy? You look at his numbers. I get it. The first 2 months of the season, he was beyond terrible. He was hitting 95 as his batting average. It was ugly. Couldn't get a hit. Eventually, he got sent down for a rehab assignment. He came back. Since that time, look at his numbers and look how good he's been hitting at the plate. Now, granted, it's been mostly against right-handed pitching, but I think it's time that they give him a shot to hit left-handers. He only has about 50 plate appearances against left-handed pitching this year. Because you may look at the numbers and say, no, look how bad his batting average has been against lefties. They haven't really given him opportunities. So I would like to see them give a guy who's earned it, like Brandon Marsh has, an opportunity to potentially be an everyday guy. But what would that mean for Harrison Bader? What would that mean for Max Kepler? Well, Jason Stark, Hall of Fame reporter Jason Stark, he joined the Mike Missinelli show earlier this week. He said he wouldn't be surprised if Max Kepler got, how he described it, Whit Merrifielded, meaning DFA'd. That may be what's coming from Max Kepler. I know he had the home run, he had the double, the 2 extra base hits. People were excited about it. But we're in August. This guy has not performed yet. So I don't know how many more opportunities you give Max Kepler at this point. If you DFA him, then what could the plan be? I guess Brandon Marsh is your everyday left fielder. Harrison Bader could be your everyday center fielder. Nick Castellanos, everyday right fielder. But to throw a monkey wrench into all of this, Matt Gelb of The Athletic joined our morning show this week, and he said, don't be surprised if they take a look at right field and make the decision to not platoon Nick Castellanos on an everyday type of thing, but maybe look at sitting him sometimes against right-handed pitching. I'd be shocked at that. They couldn't even make a defensive substitution without Castellanos being upset. Now they're going to tell him you're not going to hit against righties. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't mess with it. We're in the middle of August almost. I don't think you should be toying with all these different ideas. I think maybe the play is Brandon Marsh every day in left, Harrison Bader every day in center. Let's see what we have. Unless you're going to call up Justin Crawford, and then maybe those plans change. But I also want to talk about one more thing. Because if you're old enough to remember, Terrell Owens, magical season in 2004. Incredible. We finally got the wide receiver that we wanted. McNabb was lights out. T.O. was lights out. That team was dominant. They end up going to the Super Bowl against the Patriots, even though T.O. got hurt because Roy Williams with the horse collar tackle that wasn't illegal yet. T.O. plays in that game. Everything looked great. Then the offseason hits, and T.O. doesn't get his contract. And then all hell broke loose. And we are almost 20 years to the day, the infamous day, the next question day, when T.O.'s doing sit-ups on his driveway and Drew Rosenhaus is out there. Next question, next question. 20 years ago. And I find myself thinking a lot about what could have been. What could have been if they would have just simply paid T.O. Now, T.O. was crazy. I get it. A lot of wide receivers are. A lot of wide receivers are crazy. And T.O. was no different. But he was unbelievable. And that was the one time you saw Donovan McNabb have a true dominant number one wide receiver, with Andy Reid calling the plays, with Brian Westbrook in the backfield. It could have been a beautiful thing. But 20 years ago, the infamous crunches on his driveway, things were never the same. He ends up in Dallas the next year, and all of us are left wondering what could have been. But that's going to do it for our closing argument. We appreciate it. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, but really make sure you're listening every single day, 2 to 6, every weekday, 2 to 6, unfiltered. Me, Ricky Bo, Silvana Kelleher, Andrew DeCecco is a big part of it as well. Talk to everybody soon.
Thanks for watching Unfiltered on YouTube. You could like and subscribe down here. You could also see our other shows over here. Go ahead and watch them all. We love when you watch. The one thing, hey, you could also catch us on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, and NBC Sports Philadelphia. See you there.